Hello Internet. So in today's video, we are going to take a look at Saperly and check whether we can give our Claude Code or any agent really some access to an actual phone number. I think that it is a cool thing to add, like in agent's workflow, like we've seen with other with recent agents like OpenClaw or Hermes agents, that people are trying new interfaces to interact with AI. It could be WhatsApp, it could be like the traditional chat protocol that we have, and so on. And the whole idea here is to get even deeper and take a look at whether we can send actual SMS, whether we can pass calls to our agents. And I think that's a cool interface, and that's pushing the boundaries really, like, and it can unlock some cool use cases, really. And we are going to do that with Saperly.com. That's the product that we are going to try out in today's video to see whether we get able to actually pass calls, send SMS, and so on. So basically, you can just sign up to this service, and like you will have some credits when you do so. And basically, the very first thing that you will be able to do, and I just did it, you can just create yourself a line, just to get a phone number, really. As of today, it only supports the United States. That's unfortunate. I would have loved like picking France in my case, so that I know I can send SMS and like present this phone number to my French coworkers or French client customers, who knows. But I guess that's coming, like, since it's really said coming soon in here. I guess it's coming very soon. I gave it some name in here. I called it Panframe. That's a domain name that I own, and I call my workspace Panframe, actually. And so basically, we can edit this line and configure it. Like what we can see in here is that we can select a model. So apparently it does generate some stuff. We can pick the language, we can give it a system prompt, and so on. And that's what we are going to try. Like, I clicked on auto reply to SMS. So if, like, we should be able to auto reply to SMS, as it says. For compliance, we can also like set up some disclosure, like for phone numbers and so on. In this case, by default, it's saying you're speaking with an AI assistant from Panframe. This call may be recorded for quality and compliance. So that's, I believe, a good thing to add if you make customer-facing agents with Saperly. Like, so far the UI is pretty cool. It makes sense. Since it's a US phone number, I will take a look at whether we can actually send to my phone number in France some message. And we are going to test it through a nice playground in here. We also have some playground, I guess, in here. Well, it's whether I place a one-off call. I've got a phone in here. Or I send a message. That's not really clear, like saying playground, like, because this thing also looks like a playground. But anyway, I'm just going to test whether like I actually receive those. It will be handy whenever I connect Claude Code. I'm going to say, hello, I am your personal agent. Your personal agent. Just like that. Okay, so it says something went wrong. Please try again. I'm wondering whether it's because I picked a French number in here, which is my number. Yep. It says something went wrong. Not sure it works with foreign calls, but we are going to try that as well to see if it's only a thing with SMS, with messages. So I click place a call. I don't see an error, but I don't. Okay, I actually received some call. So I'm going to answer.
You're speaking with an AI assistant from Pomfrey. This call may be recorded for quality and compliance.
Okay, so I actually hear the disclosure. That's really cool. That's what I wanted to see. I did not even mute myself on the phone, so maybe it will try to answer. Let's see, like, do you answer the agent? I hope. I'm not sure whether you can hear the phone, but let's see.
I can definitely hear you. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to ask. And if you're in the mood for a joke, I'm here for that too.
Oh yeah, please do. Please do give me a joke.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
Okay. Okay, so that's a little joke. So it basically doesn't work as far as I'm concerned. I didn't receive any message so far, and like it actually printed some error, so I guess it didn't work. Um, for the message, maybe it's because my phone number is French. I don't know. We can try it again another time. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Thanks. Okay, so it doesn't work. I'm not sure why. Maybe something to fix in their product. But like the phone call thing, that could be a really fun thing to do because, like, let's say you want to create an agent that does things like in a recurring way. Like, let's say you don't want to forget to note something like on a daily basis. I'm not sure, like your thoughts about your work. But we can build some really cool agents in here. I'm pretty sure that if you start brainstorming, we'll find really cool examples of such agents. Um, something I'm noting in here is that a little bit like a 1 minute call, it definitely comes with a cost. It costed us like a quarter a dollar. So like that's something like if you build a SaaS, you will need to take it into account that well, basically it consumes AI in both ways. Like it transcribes your voice, it gets back with a TTS and so on. So that's something that you will need to bill your customers for because like that's a huge cost that will come with your SaaS. But I can definitely imagine a world where I can have like daily calls that I want to like the fact that it comes with some calls in a recurring way, like you could build some really cool agents that like that just take like, okay, what did I do today or do some to-do list? I don't know, like remind you of some appointments. I don't know really. But you can build yourself a very cool personal assistant. You can also build stuff for your customers. If you build a SaaS or if you build an agent as a service or something. Of course, like everything comes nicely with Claude Code nowadays, I guess. And I didn't try it yet, but like since it has some APIs, that SDKs and so on that I would need to try. Like if you build a SaaS with Saperly, you can definitely build some very cool stuff. I guess that's something we will want to see more and more in the future is some integration with SDKs, like the SDKs from Vercel and so on. Um, but like nowadays, there is already, of course, a Node/TypeScript SDK. There's some well-documented APIs that just standard nowadays, and you can just create yourself some API key where you will consume all the features from Saperly. I hope all the features from Saperly. It comes from with an MCP, so basically the next thing is to plug it to Claude Code. Like maybe some cool step I would have loved to see in the documentation right now is the ability to just copy and paste the comment to add the MCP because like I don't remember how to set up a MCP. I just copy paste comments. I don't even think about it nowadays. Maybe it's in here actually. Could be the case. Could be the case that it's actually in here. But yeah, anyway, that's worth thinking about. Like we can actually have some plugin and so on. Uh, yeah, it doesn't work from what I can see in here. like I would need to dig deeper, like maybe a first step, like if I were to consume it very quickly, well, first there is the MCP, so I should just tell Claude, okay, Claude, figure out, like, first thing I see when I don't have the command just to install the MCP, I grab the llms.txt and I tell, hey, Claude, set up MCP for this service, right? Because like maybe it's somewhere, like there is some documentation about how to connect it, calling your own MCPs and so on. So I guess that's for customizing the Saperly agent, but not really for Claude Code. Claude Code. Okay. Okay. So there seems to be a special thing. Yeah, like I don't want to have to click the full setup. I just want the command in here, in the documentation. Configure in a Claude Code session, run the following command. Okay, but like if I run it, like currently, like it won't work. Of course, it needs a skill. Unknown command, ask from unknown skill. Didn't work. So ask from unknown skill, like, okay, so it's actually a skill. Then how do I add this skill? Like, what is the command? Like, this documentation could be upgraded. I guess I could figure it out if I turn on my brain. But like currently, it doesn't seem to work very fine yet. Just following not turning on my brain, not digging into it. Like I can get it this way. I'm going to see if Claude Code like actually has some brain. I just paste a key. Right, so I'm going to grab a key from Saperly, going to plug my brain a little bit, but let Claude Code do the hard work. So let's call it Claude. Full access. Okay, you can even add spend limit. That's really cool. So I will have to remember to rotate this API key after recording this video. That's something I need to think about. Okay, so actually there is maybe some MCP that we can consume. And like pass a call to I don't know. Because like sending messages didn't seem to work, at least from the dashboard perspective. Will it be able to pass a call from here? I don't know. Okay, I need to create a new session, of course, because like it was just, maybe I can just reload things, but I'm not sure. Well, I will just open a new session. At least I'm sure it's properly reloaded. Okay, and like it will pass a call. I hope so, actually. It's actually calling the MCP, so it seems to work so far. Okay, so it gets some context about the line. Maybe it could be fun to be able to configure it. And I receive actually the call. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Hello, dear agent.
You're speaking with an AI assistant from PalmFrame. This call
Okay,
may be recorded for quality and compliance.
okay, cool. Give me a joke about developers.
Why do developers always carry a pencil and paper? Because they want to draw their own conclusions.
Okay, so that wasn't a funny one. I still don't know if you can hear it. AI is still not funny. Like, you can still make a great career in Uber. AI won't replace your job just yet. Maybe someday, but it isn't there currently. So yeah, so basically it works. Like you can consume the MCP, you can just tell Claude Code to figure out how to set up the MCP itself, since I didn't have my brain on. Um, that's really cool. I think like if I ever come up with cool SaaS ideas or agent as a service ideas, that's definitely some interface that I will dig into. It was really fast forward. It just need me to bring EV KYC. I'm not sure if that will be sustainable for them, like especially if there is some spam in the future. But like, yeah, basically, we achieved our goal. We can from now like create some cool use cases. We can just tell Claude, okay, pass a call, create a new agent maybe where it has this and this context, this and this tool. So maybe like if it's a support AI agent, like it can actually grab information from the APIs, databases, and so on. So yeah, basically, like I wish that my like whenever I call for my insurance or stuff like that, where I actually have some robots, it were something modern, like like modern with proper LLMs and so on, and not just a dump agent, right? So very cool product. If you want to get your own SaaS reviewed on this channel, I actually have some offers. So you can just take a look at the description below and you will find my offer to get your own SaaS reviewed on YouTube. The one idea is that people, when they hear about your SaaS, they want to see maybe some human being testing the capabilities of the SaaS, the pros and cons, stuff like that. Like, let's say, like you absolutely need something that supports French numbers. Like just watching this video, you will know real quick that currently it isn't there. That's the whole point of these videos, is that people can just type the name of your SaaS, see what it can do, what it can't do currently. And in the meantime, I give some feedback about your SaaS, right? So like lovely illustrations in here, very cool SaaS. I guess like it has some really cool potential. I will follow it closely in the future. And that's it for our video. See you in the next one.